It's the $1 Million Organizer Show. Tips for professional union organizers. Win more campaigns, balance work and family, and leave the competition in the dust. Now here's your host, Bob Odie.
Hello, union organizers and future union organizers. Welcome to the podcast. This is episode number 36. A listener reached out to say how much he enjoys the show and my books, and I do appreciate the support. If you like what you hear, please comment and subscribe. It helps others find the material online. A member of my exclusive Union Organizer Facebook group was going for an organizing interview with his local and asked what he could say to get hired. And one of the members suggested that he say, "The union has made a great life for me and my family. I believe every worker should have the same opportunities." Pretty good, huh? I couldn't have said it better myself. We're waiting to hear if he gets the job. Understand it can take some time to get hired, but I think he will. And speaking of opportunities, I want to share with you how my local union helped my family this week. The grocery workers and the electricians teamed up to provide members vaccinations. There must have been 25 or 30 volunteers. It was held at our union hall, and it was so well run, very professional. We felt so grateful once again. Thank God for the union and sisters and brothers who made it all possible. That's why I'm always so happy to pay my union dues. I get so much in return, and I hope you feel the same way about your union. Things are starting to get back to some sense of normalcy after a year of lockdown. Restaurants, gyms, and movie theaters are scheduled to open again here in Los Angeles. I'm not ready to go to any restaurants, and I'm definitely not going to be touching a bunch of sweaty gym equipment or sitting in a steam room with a bunch of strangers. But hey, that's me. I bought a bunch of exercise equipment and weights this year. I've got it all set up in my backyard. I don't see myself ever going to a gym again. What about you? We're eating a lot healthier over here, too. We've learned to cook our own meals from scratch, so we'll see. I think it's a good idea as union organizers to reflect on this last year. It's been exactly a year since COVID-19, global pandemic, and quarantine and lockdown. Do you remember the 14 days to flatten the curve? That's how they originally sold it to us. It was March 14th, 2020. Who would have guessed that 1 year later, we'd still be on lockdown? Luckily for us organizers, a lot of the ideas that we were taught, for example, about house calling, transferred to virtual organizing. The importance of a good introduction, need for listening using open-ended questions, sharing the vision of the union, inoculating workers for the employer's campaign, and then moving workers to action. They still work. The bad news is the economy has been destroyed. Businesses have been forced into bankruptcy. Here's a short list of companies that have filed for bankruptcy: Hertz Rental Car, JCPenney, Gold's Gym, Frontier Communication, Whiting Petroleum, Guitar Center, Fry's Electronics, Chuck E. Cheese, Neiman Marcus, and Tailored Brands. That's Men's Warehouse and Joseph A. Banks. Man, I bought a lot of suits from those guys. Meanwhile, the Fed and the central banks keep printing money, loaning money, and buying government debt. The politicians keep handing out stimulus checks. They're now on their third one. President Joe Biden signed the $1.9 trillion coronavirus relief package. The bill is known as the American Rescue Plan Act. I would have signed it too. There's no other choice. But don't be fooled. The real beneficiaries of all this government spending are the rich. They're doing better than ever. Wall Street loves the bailouts. The billionaires have seen their fortunes double, triple, even quadruple. And I've had a lot of time to think about it. A year to be exact. At this point, I think the lockdown was mostly a political event. That's right, a stunt. It's been a power grab. We've seen a lot of our rights taken away from us. Our financial stability, our freedom of speech, our freedom of assembly, our right to worship as we see fit, it's all been infringed upon. Now that we know that our rights can be taken away from us at any time, can we really go back to normal? A lot of people think we are. And who knows? They might be right. Perhaps in a month or two from now, we'll all go back to shaking hands and hugging people. But what if the new normal is just that? This huge, looming government debt bubble will have to be paid back someday. Basically, they've just kicked the problem down the road. But make no mistake about it, our children and our grandchildren will be the ones paying it back in the form of higher taxes, higher prices, and lost purchasing power. Here are 3 statistics for you. The U.S. consumers lost another 1.8% year over year in purchasing power. Another 712,000 people applied for unemployment benefits last month. The U.S. government will spend more than $400 billion just on interest on the debt this year. It's a nightmare. They're telling us that inflation is under control. Do you believe that? Lumber prices are up 150% in 1 year. Are you telling me you haven't noticed a rise in your grocery bills? What about gas? Keep your eye on the 10-year Treasury yield. It's skyrocketing. They're calling the effort to control it yield curve control. But what that means is the government is printing money and buying their own debt, bonds. No one else wants them. It's scary. Now, let me be clear. I'm not giving financial advice. And let me repeat, I'm not giving financial advice or career advice for that matter. I'm simply saying 2021 might be a good time to pay down debt, save a little more, increase 401k contributions. While you're at it, cut spending. Let's not turn in a bunch of unnecessary expenses. Get paperwork and reports in on time. Take the pressure off your supervisor or whoever we report to. The light at the end of this tunnel might just be a train heading in our direction.
Thanks for listening. We hope that you'll subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts or anywhere you listen to podcasts. Give us a 5-star review and let us know what you'd like to hear the $1 Million Organizer talk about. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram @Union Organizer. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.